You can call me Buster, and welcome to a brand new series back here in Open RCT2. Today, instead of doing sandbox mode, although that is still a continuing series, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be starting a scenario. I'm not sure how you guys are going to like this. We're going to test it. Here we go. So, our first scenario that we're going to be doing, I will be doing more if you guys enjoy this, but let's go ahead and start with the good old classic, Forest Frontiers from the original Roller Coaster Tycoon. So, in sandbox mode, we do a whole lot of, building things and just kind of doing whatever we want, being creative. However, when you're playing a scenario, you have to watch out for your money. And money, oh boy, it adds a very new aspect to this game. So, first of all, I'm actually going to delete this stuff. Oh, maybe that was a bad idea. I thought that would give me money, not get rid of money. Oh well. So let's see what we've got here. The most important thing to do starting off is you want to build a flat ride to start bringing in some cash. So I'll build this, I think right here is good. And especially on this map, you have to be careful about the trees because deleting them costs a lot of money. And so you don't really want to be deleting too many trees. Let's do that, because nobody cares about the lamppost, am I right? Alright, so one thing I always like to do is jack up the price by like 50 cents or $1, because they will still pay for it. Let's see. And like this, I'll just open it. And then we'll open the park because it starts off closed. You always got to watch out for things like that. Now, one thing that you need to keep in mind, you start off with $10,000, but that's from a loan. And every month, you'll be paying back this loan in interest a little bit. I mean, you won't actually be paying it back. It'll just charge you interest every month, right? So, that's an issue. Oh, right, from the exit. Right. That's kind of important, isn't it? There we go. Alright. So that won't charge you a whole ton of money at first, but over time it does make a difference. So let's jack up the price here. Get some food and drink going. Pow. And then this I like to jack up all the way to $2. Open those so that people have stuff to eat and drink. Alright, and then the next thing I like to do is I like to build a roller coaster because those are always overpowered and give you a ton of money. And you want to do that while you still have plenty of cash left, and you try to work quickly with those. This time I'm going to go for a junior roller coaster, I think. You know what, I will go for a wooden one just because those are more, like, people like them better, the peeps do. So let's start here. I'm going to try not to go too overboard though, because that's something I tend to do, and then I run out of money. So, that's bad, okay? I'm going to do this little trick where you can get a quicker lift hill. It only works when you have longer trains, but we will have some longer trains, I think, hopefully, Alright, so let's go down and like that, and I'll do like this, and then we'll roll down like so, like that. So what all do we have access to? We've got helixes. Oh, by the way, always put an on-ride photo section. Any ride that you build in a scenario that has an on-ride photo section, put an on-ride photo section. I swear it's important. It gets even more money out of each of your rides. So I'm going to do something like this. And then like that. No, that's not going to work. Let's, go like that. And then go a couple and do like that. There we go. I love kind of wrapping my coasters around themselves like this. Using efficient use of the space, It just looks cool. But I do have to be careful of my money. I've already used up half of what I had. So that's a good thing. I mean, that's not a good thing. It's a good thing to look out for is what I'm trying to say. So, right here, I'm actually going to expand the path. But first, I want to block it off. And I'll block them off right here, because I don't want them going in the exits. And I'll just do that, and that should be okay. Alright, so yeah, they're all staying on that path, and I don't like that. Get out of there. Alright, I'll just do like this. So, one thing that I've sort of theorized, I don't know if it's true, but the objective, as you can see, by the end of year 1, we have to have at least 250 guests in our park, and we can't let the park rating go below 600. Right now, we're at 537, so once we hit 600, well, I guess at the end of the year, it just has to be 600. There are some scenarios that say you can't let it drop below a certain amount at any time. This is not one of those. This is actually quite an easy scenario, comparatively speaking. Let's get back to building this coaster. Oh, but I didn't finish my thought. The theory that I had is that you need to have more guests actually in your park. Man, yeah, they're all going to be like, oh, it's too crowded here. Right? They're not saying it yet, but what I'm actually going to do is let them in here because I did this. So they should come this way now. Right. So when the park is super crowded, that's when the guests tend to start leaving the park. So one of the big things that you do to get guests in is you can run marketing campaigns, and that just makes more guests spawn at the spawn point here, and then they come in. So you can see there's people leaving. That's because it's too crowded, I think. But when you get them in, they'll start coming in, and you'll see this little up arrow that shows you that more guests are coming in than they are leaving. But then as soon as the campaign ends, it tends to go back down, and you get a little down arrow. But what I've found, personally, is that when you build more footpath, more guests will stay in the park. I think it's just because the game wants you to have a certain amount of footpath to support a certain amount of guests. And you can bring more in by doing this, but then as soon as you finish that, it's going to lower down again. Which, by the way, I should probably do this. This is kind of important. I'm going to hold off on building security for now. There's not a whole lot of stuff I need to worry about as far as stuff getting broken. I don't care too much. I'm going to get rid of the lamppost for some waste baskets, by the way, because the waste baskets actually serve a function. OpenRCT2, by the way, has a few lighting functions. So, like, it has a day-night cycle you can put on, which is kind of cool, but it's sort of experimental. It doesn't quite work. Ooh, nice. Look at that. When I say it doesn't quite work, man, I'm so happy with that. Okay, I'm going to really make it go back now. I'll put in a little rolling hill here, though, just to have something interesting. Yeah, I'm out of money. I need to bring it in. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. Can I do like that? Yes. Let's put in some brakes. And then do like that. And more brakes. I forgot what I was saying. Sorry about that. Alright, so let's go ahead and, first of all, for roller coasters, you can jack up the price really high. I like to start off with $3. Same with the on-ride photos. They will still buy them, even at this price. At some point, they will say, I'm not paying that much to go on this ride, or paying for that, you know. But, let's see. 7 cars per train, 2 trains. Can I get it to 3 cars with 6? Yes, I can. Okay, so let's test this out. I believe that's still long enough. Yes, very good. So we're going to test it, and as long as it's very high or lower on the intensity, then we're good to go. I don't think it should be that bad, because it's not very large. Oh, that sucks. Rain. So, I'm sure many of you have noticed playing the game, if you do play, that when it rains, guests just won't ride things. Many things. Particularly roller coasters. They say, I'm not riding this while it's raining. You know what? Let's see what the test results are, but then I want to see if I can add another rolling hill right here, because there's plenty of space for that. Clearly it's working. Okay, it's at very high. The excitement rating is just barely at 6, which is great. I'm going to go ahead and try to add this. Alright, so, and then like that, and 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 that. Okay. Let's go ahead and test that out again. Now, I'm going to speed it up real quick, just so we can get through this really quickly. Alright, what was that just now? It has no path leading from its exit. Yes, it... Oh, never mind. It was telling me I unlocked the Ferris wheel. Okay, good. Alright, so it's still at very high. That's fine. That's very good. Alright, so let's pop this open for the guests. And let's pop this open. So at this point, what I want to do is I'm going to have to wait just to make some money back. At this point, you'll see here, this is the financial graph. It tells you how much money you have, but it takes out the amount of loan that you have. So cash less loan is 8,000. My loan is 10,000. So as soon as this is in the... I'm not sure. Never mind. My train of thought is a little bad right now. Anyway, I'm going to spend some time renaming my couple of rides here. Oh, also I should probably give the poor guests a nice bathroom. You can charge to use the bathroom. When I was a kid, I used to always set it to 10 cents. You can. It gives you the ability. It clearly wants you to be able to do this. And they will pay for it. They will go in there, and you can start making profit from your restrooms. But that's kind of a jerk move, so I don't do that. Alright, so let's see. What are you guys thinking? It looks too intense. Okay. I might need to lower the intensity a bit, which I can do by checking the graph here. Let's see. The max positive vertical G's is 3.4. Vertical G's 3.4 is like at the start right here. Okay, I'm gonna watch this real quick, but here I want to just name my rides because I like to do that, and I'm going to kill some time with it. Alright, so Twist. So if you guys ever played the original Roller Coaster Tycoon, like the original, you'll know that Twist used to be called Scrambled Eggs. So that's a thing. I'll name it that. And then to make it actually look like scrambled eggs. That looks more kind of like gold. Alright, so right here. So it's up there. This right here is what's causing the G's. Okay, I can fix that. Because it just goes up like that, I can just make it a regular slope. Oh, but it does it all over the place. Oh, these rolling hills are also what do it. Alright, so this is actually a real problem, because if people aren't riding it, then people aren't paying for it. And you gotta really think about how much money things are making you when you're doing a scenario. What else does scrambled eggs look like? We'll call that pepper. Alright, so there are still people riding it, but gosh. Let's close it real quick and do some of this right here. Okay, that should work better. Let's test it. Hopefully that'll lower the G's a little bit, give it a bit less intensity. Okay, yeah, that did lower it. So let's open it again, and hopefully people will ride it now. In fact, I think the excitement rating is a little bit higher too. Alright, well, we'll have to see. Let's rename it real quick. We'll call this... What should we call this? I like to base it around how it looks and how it rides, you know? Let's see. It's quite an intense ride. It kind of twists around itself a lot. I'll call it a pretzel, because it twists around itself a lot. That's nice. So people are still finding it too intense. Oh, look at this. Pretzel is really good value. That's your sign to jack it up some more. Just looking at it makes me feel sick. That's not a great nausea rating, I guess. Alright, so for now, I want to put some benches here. The nausea rating will be a big deal. So I like to put benches right at the exits of my more nauseating rides, just to try and mitigate that a little bit. Because as I mentioned in a recent episode of my Sandbox series, you can mitigate the nausea value. Guests will sit on benches when they're nauseated to lower their nausea rating, okay? They'll get less sick by sitting around, which is great, because we don't have access to first aid rooms. So yeah. Oh, we don't have log flumes. I'm sure we'll get access to it. Oh, here's another thing to pay attention to. Go to your research funding. Okay, so we're at normal funding. Some scenarios will start you off at maximum funding, which is 400 per month, and then minimum funding is 100 per month. Right now we're at normal, which gives us 200. That's acceptable. Right now we're in the red, but that's because we've been spending on landscaping. You can see we spent 384 and we have negative 320 something. So if we had not done any landscaping this month, we would actually be making profit, which is great. Let's also do this. This counts as landscaping, by the way. All of the benches, the QTVs, the litter bins, as well as the footpath, other decorations, destroying trees, that all counts as landscaping. So they're still saying this is good value, which means we can jack up the price even more, although I'm going to be a little more conservative here. Put it up only 50 cents this time. Sometimes they say, yeah, the on-ride photo is really good value, so I'm going to jack that up as well. Go on. Alright. Now, not too many people are saying they're too intense. I wish I could sort these thoughts. Yeah, there are still people saying it looks too intense, which is not great. That means we're... Like, normally you see the queue line be completely full on these things, you know? But not this time, because... Okay, so here's something to note. Every scenario has different kinds of guests, in that they are more or less likely to ride intense rides. Sometimes they only want to ride stuff like twists and Ferris wheels. Other times, they'll ride stuff like this and be perfectly okay with it. This time, it looks like they're not okay with it. So, let's see, which one is cheaper? This costs $460 and the other one was $450. I think carousels make more money overall, so I'm going to build one of these. Make that efficient use of space right there. Pow. Have another exit right there. Pow, pow, pow. Okay. And of course, that one starts with it. Oh, by the way, do not jack up the price on merry-go-rounds or Ferris wheels. In fact, sometimes don't do it on twists. Because at some point, these rides, the guests will say, I'm not paying that much to go on these rides. And for especially Ferris wheels and merry-go-rounds, they really do that quickly. So be careful about that. Pay attention to your guests' thoughts. Occasionally come in here and go into profit and hit sort. And you'll see like the merry-go-round is at negative. That's because we just built it and nobody's gone on it yet. That'll go up as soon as people start riding it and paying for it. But you'll notice that some of these say 0 or even negatives and stuff. So just check on these occasionally, and if anything says 0, click on them and then go in here, click on the thoughts, and sometimes it'll have a bunch of these saying I'm not paying that much to go on it, and that's your cue to actually lower the price on these. So that's a little pro tip for you guys. Same with these actually. The burger bar, I mean, neither of these are making profit. For some reason, food and drink don't make a lot of money at the very beginning of a scenario, But later on, when the guests have been in the park for a while, they'll start getting hungry and thirsty, and that's when they'll start buying this stuff. So having it at the front of the park is a good place to have them. I might have waited. In fact, don't take my example. Wait until a little while to build stuff like this, because they won't actually buy it enough at first. Log flume, yes! We're waiting for that. They won't buy it enough at first to make that profitable, but later on they will be very profitable. So merry-go-rounds, you know what, let's just keep it as merry-go-round, but get rid of the 1, because the 1 is stupid. Yeah, it's a merry-go-round. That's you know, that's what it is. Is what it is. I want to quickly grab my handyman, make him clean that up, just because there's kind of a lot of traffic right there. Oh, that's another thing. Since it's all about money, you want to try to be as efficient with your staff as possible, which is why I hardly ever hire entertainers unless I'm making tons of money. Security guards I don't usually hire unless I have a lot of this sort of stuff, which I do now, but it's not a huge park by any means, so if anything breaks, I'll be able to see it and sort of be like, oh, that needs to be replaced, and I'll just replace it real quick. So, yeah, that's what we'll do here. Now, one thing about Forest Frontiers, you don't have a lot of room here. I used to play this one a ton as a kid. You have a bit of land that you can buy. You can buy this little area over here. It's not really worth it because you won't get the money, and you only have until the end of the first year with this particular scenario. So this is kind of what I was afraid of building the wooden roller coaster. I thought maybe I would make it too intense and then less people would ride it, and that's exactly what's happened. Alright, so they're not saying it's good value anymore, so we're not going to be jacking up the price, but they are still paying for it, as you can see. So, let's see, we only have $600. That's not enough money to build a log flume. Let's see. Go ahead and build some gardens here. Do some my favorite white and blue, as you guys may or may not know. I'll just toss these into the empty sections here. Let's not spend too much money on that. It is very important that you not spend a ton of money. Pirate ships are usually pretty good in terms of value and making profit. Whoops, it's the wrong kind. Like so. And like so. Whoops. Boom. Okay. Turn on the music. Jack up the price a little bit. Whoops, not that much. Full load, maximum waiting time. Open that bad boy. Oh, hi there. Construction, it's... How did you get in the line? Whatever. Anyway, let's go ahead and rename this real quick. Pirate ship, Yar me mateys. Yay! I love giving silly names to my pirate ships. It's kind of how I roll. You guys know how I roll. I like giving silly names to things. Anyway, let's do that. Turn off the entry to there so that people aren't going in there and messing with things. We'll put in some benches and stuff just in case it's secretly a super nauseating ride. Okay. And we'll also... Oh, I don't have money. Okay, so this is the worst part. Something that is mitigated by the speed up button right here that OpenRCT2 gives you. But yeah, we're very low on money. As you can see, it's because of the ride construction and the landscaping and all that. So what I need to do is just kind of hold back on that for a little while, and we should be better. Although, so I don't have any kind of like official confirmation on this. Oh wow, I'm exactly $0. Nice. I'm pretty sure that the queue line TVs, you'll notice that sometimes the guests will think, I've been queuing for this ride for ages. I think, I've noticed that sometimes when they think that and the queue line is particularly long, guests will actually go back out and just leave the line. They'll get sick of waiting and leave. And I think the Q-Line TVs lowers the chance of them doing that, because I guess it's like entertaining them, you know. Let's do some of this. Alright, so yeah, it's nice to have Q-Line TVs. Let's see. You probably don't need to spam them as much as I do, I'll be honest. But that's how I feel it is. Alright, so how far are we? We're in June right now. So as you see, the year starts in March, and the year actually ends in October. But it does go through all the other ones, so March, April, May, June, July, August, September, November, October. Oh wait, November's not in there. Yeah, so we're about halfway through the scenario right now, and we're also at the 25-minute mark, just about. So I'm going to cut it off right here. I may... Actually, there's no need to do anything off camera. I'll just speed it up. But yeah, I'm going to make a cut right here, and we'll come back to do the other half of the scenario in the next episode. So, thank you guys ever so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe before you go. But until next time, goodbye, everyone.